Street racing is very risky, but some drivers take it a step further by trying to outrun the police. And sometimes, these chases turn into high-stakes games where the racers manage to outsmart the police. Like the driver of this blacked-out Dodge Charger. On the night of October 3, 2019, at 10:41 p.m., Corporal Clayton McDonald of the Arkansas State Police reported that he was in pursuit of a black Dodge Charger on Interstate 430 northbound near Rodney Parham Road. The Charger had been speeding and made a sudden lane change, jumping from lane 1 to lane 3. McDonald attempted to get close enough to read the license plate, but the car was already pulling away. The officer stayed on the Charger as it turned west onto Highway 10. The driver's behavior quickly escalated. He was swerving between lanes, running red lights, and then, in a move that caught everyone off guard, he turned off his headlights. From the dash cam, it is clear the driver was not panicking. He knew what he was doing. As soon as the headlights went dark, the car disappeared into the night. Even other drivers on the road seemed visibly confused, unsure of where the Charger had gone. For those wondering if a kill switch was involved, it wasn't. The car's brake lights were still visible. He simply switched off the headlights and relied on the daytime running lights to stay low profile but still functional.
He's going to be turning. We're westbound on Highway 10, westbound on Highway 10, he's still blocked.
The suspect weaves recklessly through highway traffic, cutting off cars and running red lights at dangerously high speeds. Watching the chase unfold, it's hard not to question what kind of training these officers are getting when it comes to handling situations like this, because from the outside, the strategy looks questionable at best. The purpose of the pursuit becomes unclear fast. Even if the officer somehow manages to close the gap, the suspect's car has a clear performance edge, and the driver knows exactly how to handle it. When the chances of catching up are slim, and the risk to others keeps rising, it's fair to ask if continuing the chase is doing more harm than good.
Run a red light.
After a while, the officer thinks he has the vehicle back in sight as he approaches another red light. But instead of slowing down, the patrol car pushed through the intersection at speeds over 120 miles per hour. The footage raised an important question about the risks involved. At that moment, who was creating more danger, the suspect or the officer?
Southbound on Taylor Loop.
Southbound on Taylor Loop.
15. 1022. It's going to be too fast for these cars.
By 10:44 p.m., with no visual on the suspect, McDonald deactivated his lights and ended the pursuit near Highway 10 and Taylor Loop. He advised nearby agencies that the vehicle had escaped, no property was damaged, and no arrests were made. The Charger vanished and managed to outsmart the pursuit with a kind of calculated calm that you rarely see in chases like this. The bait and switch. On the night of June 8, at around 10 p.m., Trooper Richard Surrett of the Arkansas State Police was driving along the highway when he noticed a Chevrolet Camaro in lane 3. According to dashcam footage from his patrol vehicle, Surrett was in lane 1 when he began slowing down and initiating a stop on the Camaro. At first, the driver of the Camaro appeared to comply. Both vehicles reduced their speed to around 40 miles per hour, and the Camaro began to move toward the right side of the road, but that quickly changed. That changed in an instant. At around the 104 mark, the driver of the Camaro downshifted and hit the gas, launching the vehicle forward with no warning. Within 20 seconds, the Camaro was completely gone from view. Despite having no visual contact, Surrett continued to accelerate, chasing into the distance with the hope of catching up. During the pursuit, Surrett communicated over the radio, reporting that he was catching taillights every so often. But based on the footage, there was no clear indication that he ever saw the vehicle again after the initial burst. The Camaro's early lead, combined with its superior speed, made it unlikely that the trooper would regain visual contact. It's at this point the chase began to feel less tactical and more emotional, driven by frustration rather than strategy. The pursuit then transitioned onto residential streets, where Surrett continued at dangerously high speeds. The patrol vehicle reached over 90 miles per hour in densely populated areas and blew through red lights without hesitation. At this point, it was no longer just about the fleeing suspect. The chase itself became a major safety concern, with the Camaro long gone and the officer pushing well beyond safe limits. The risk to other drivers and pedestrians increased dramatically. While fleeing the police is reckless and illegal, this pursuit quickly turned into something else entirely. The Camaro was gone within seconds, and the trooper kept pushing long after there was any chance of catching up. At that point, it wasn't about making an arrest. It just became about not being able to let go. But the truth is, he never had a grip on it to begin with. The driver knew exactly what he was doing. He had the power, the control, and the timing. He didn't panic or make a single mistake. Meanwhile, the officer was left flying through red lights and tearing down residential streets, chasing nothing. The street racer didn't need tricks or shortcuts. He just outdrove the cop and disappeared. One smart driver in a fast car left a state trooper looking like he was late to his own pursuit, crossing state lines. Another Chevrolet Camaro caught the attention of Arkansas State Police on December 8, 2022, when it sped past a trooper stationed on the side of the highway. Arkansas State Police have built a reputation for being relentless in high-speed chases. Their pursuit tactics are aggressive, and they've caught more than a few drivers in vehicles that technically outperform their cruisers. Most of the time, it's not about the car, it's about the driver making mistakes under pressure. But this time, the person behind the wheel of the Camaro wasn't folding. As the chase continued, it became obvious that the suspect knew exactly what he was doing. The Camaro sliced through traffic, threading between cars without hesitation. Even as congestion started to build, the driver didn't flinch. He maintained control, kept his speed, and avoided every obstacle with precision. The trooper, still determined, started using on-ramps, off-ramps, and the right shoulder to keep from getting boxed in. He was doing everything he could to stay in it, but the Camaro wasn't giving him much to work with. The chase intensified as the Camaro began reaching higher speeds. For a brief period, the trooper managed to close the distance, staying directly behind the suspect. But as the Camaro continued to accelerate, the patrol car could no longer keep up, and the gap between the two vehicles began to widen. That final glimpse of the Camaro came just before it crossed into Memphis. One last flash of taillights, and then it was gone. The trooper kept driving, but it was over. The car disappeared into the city, taking the lead, the momentum, and the outcome with it. Crossing into Memphis doesn't automatically stop the chase, but it does shift control. Once a suspect crosses state lines, Arkansas officers usually have to back off unless they coordinate with Tennessee authorities. If a helicopter is tracking, it can stay overhead and guide local units in. Unless there's a quick handoff, a smart driver might use that brief gap to slip away. As far as anyone knows, the driver got away that night. However, the story might not be over. The license plate looked visible on camera, unless the car was stolen. If it wasn't, tracking the owner down could just be a matter of time. To be clear, this isn't some blueprint for how to outrun police. Most departments have the tools to catch up: fast units, helicopters, and a statewide network of officers who can pick up where one leaves off. Getting away in the moment doesn't mean they won't find you later. But in this case, the driver didn't need luck or any tricks, just a powerful car and the skill to use it. While the officer pushed the cruiser to its limit, the Camaro was already gone. Street race getaway. One driver was cruising through the city when he unexpectedly came across a full-blown underground car meet. Right in front of him, a street race was kicking off between a Hellcat and a Nissan 240. These kinds of races are illegal, and the stakes are always high. It's not uncommon for events like this to end with someone calling the police and the whole scene getting shut down.
Oh, they might go again.
Still, for a moment, it's hard not to be drawn in. The energy, the cars, the sheer speed, it's a spectacle. And it makes you wonder, if cities focused on building tracks instead of tearing them down, maybe scenes like this wouldn't keep spilling onto the streets. The gathering quickly builds momentum. Cars are pouring in from all directions, and the sound of engines revving cuts through the night as racers begin to show off their builds. Each rev signals that the race is about to begin, and the crowd knows exactly what to expect. Without instruction, surrounding vehicles begin to clear the way. A makeshift lane forms down the center of the street, giving the racers space to line up. It's an unspoken routine. Everyone plays their part, but in a split second, things take a turn.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh shoot. Yep, they're going after him for sure.
Not one, but two police cruisers suddenly enter the scene with no sirens, just flashing lights cutting through the dark. They move in fast, gliding past traffic with purpose, clearly locking onto their target. It's a quiet but calculated approach, meant to catch the racers off guard before anyone has time to scatter. Whether the racers saw them coming or not is hard to tell. From the footage, it's chaos. Cars pulling to the side, spectators backing away, and engines that were just revving now going silent or roaring in retreat. Given the number of cars present and the pace at which the scene is about to unfold, it's safe to assume that a lot of people won't be getting out in time. With illegal racing, just being at the wrong place at the wrong moment can land someone in trouble. By the looks of it, that night didn't end with just one chase. It likely ended with multiple arrests, impounded cars, and a clear message from law enforcement.
All right, we got off this exit, and there is... How many cops is that? A lot. Something's going down right there.
Pulling off the exit, it appears the police may have managed to trap a group of racers. A long line of patrol vehicles, likely just coming off an active pursuit, is parked along the road. The way the cruisers are lined up suggests a containment effort, possibly to prevent anyone from leaving the area. From the layout, it looks like officers were trying to block off escape routes and secure the scene quickly.
Oh, he's going to jail. Damn, man. That blue Corvette said, I'm out.
As one car gets pulled over mid-race, the rest of the group quickly begins to scatter. A nearby biker spots his chance. While the officer is focused on the stopped vehicle, the rider quietly revs his engine, slips through the gap, and takes off. Moments later, a blue Corvette follows the same logic. Using the confusion to their advantage, both drivers break away from the group and disappear into the distance, leaving the others behind to deal with the aftermath. While some racers were caught in the chaos, others used it to their advantage and vanished before police could react. It's a reminder that in street racing, the smartest move isn't always the fastest. It's knowing exactly when to make your exit. Los Angeles helicopter chase. In South Los Angeles, police were in pursuit of a stolen Kia Soul, reaching speeds of 120 miles per hour.
Gil, where are we?
Colleen and Robert, we're going into South LA right now. This is a stolen Kia Soul. You can see the speeds there about 100 miles an hour. The car blacking out at times, flashing its headlights at other vehicles as it approaches. LAPD is in pursuit. This pursuit started on the 5 freeway coming out of the San Fernando.
Despite the odds, the driver appeared highly skilled. He cut his headlights, navigated turns with precision, and seemed to know the streets well. With multiple cruisers behind him and helicopters overhead, it looked like there was no way out. But what happens next shows this driver wasn't planning to go down easily.
Trying to get around him. We might be seeing this car exit here right now again, and it looks like, yes, he's exiting at, we'll try to get you that off-ramp here.
At this point, he's no longer running. He's just cruising. With every sharp turn, he manages to shake off more of the pursuing patrol cars. The only thing keeping the chase alive is the helicopter overhead, which is much harder to lose. At one point, he disappears under a bridge and reappears in a completely different direction, catching even the ground units off guard. If that helicopter hadn't been tracking him, that move might have been enough to make a clean getaway.
And that's going to be Grand Avenue right through that intersection, almost hitting that car. Very close call. We're going to try to catch up to the vehicle right now and continue this chase here. The LAPD was behind the vehicle, and they went into tracking mode.
With the helicopter's spotlight locked onto his vehicle, the pressure starts to show. The driver runs a red light and narrowly avoids a collision with cross traffic. It's clear his luck is starting to run thin. He seems to realize that as long as the helicopter stays overhead, there's no clean exit. The longer this chase drags on, the fewer options he has. He knows it needs to end soon.
The unit's trying to get behind the car. A lot of homeless people living right along that street, a very dangerous situation. Now back to the other side of the freeway, a left turn going westbound, and we'll see which way the car goes. We want to keep a wide shot here to make sure.
If you look closely during the chase, there's a subtle but telling detail. Right before entering the underpass, the driver uses his turn signal for the first time. That wasn't a mistake. It was completely intentional. He wanted every helicopter and patrol unit focused on that moment, watching him head under the bridge, and it worked. Officers and aerial units waited, expecting him to exit on the other side, but he never did. The most likely explanation is that he pulled into a secluded spot beneath the bridge, quietly parked the car, and slipped away on foot, with the attention fixed on the road ahead. He used the cover of darkness and the structure itself to disappear completely.
We did see those units go underneath the bridge there where we last saw the vehicle, and so far it's not been found.
Moments after the suspect disappears under the bridge, police units follow closely behind, but there's nothing there. No sign of the vehicle, no sign of the driver. Even with a helicopter overhead, he managed to vanish without being seen. The way he timed it, used the structure for cover, and exited without creating any noticeable movement suggests careful planning and precise execution. Escaping a full pursuit involving multiple cruisers and aerial surveillance is rare. Pulling it off without noise, without panic, and without leaving a trace is something else entirely. Whether it was luck, experience, or both, this driver outplayed the entire system. On the night of Thursday, February 22, 2024, officers in Pomona attempted a routine traffic stop on a blue Chevrolet Corvette.
That Pomona PD wanted to use as far as pulling this car over. Also speed and reckless driving.
The vehicle had no license plates and was reportedly in violation of a vehicle code. But instead of stopping, the driver accelerated and fled the scene, initiating a high-speed pursuit.
To slow down and not use those high speeds that we were seeing on the freeway on these surface streets. We're picking up a little bit of speed here.
The chase quickly escalated as the Corvette sped east into San Bernardino County, before looping back into Los Angeles County. The driver entered the 21605 freeways, weaving through traffic at extreme speeds. Air 7 HD began tracking the pursuit from above shortly after 11 p.m., capturing footage of the Corvette pushing past 140 miles per hour on the open freeway. As the chase moved through the San Gabriel Valley and onto the 10 freeway, the situation became increasingly dangerous. The driver swerved aggressively across lanes, cut over gore points, and came dangerously close to hitting multiple vehicles. Still, the Corvette remained in motion, maintaining high speeds as law enforcement vehicles followed closely behind. Eventually, the suspect exited the freeway and entered the surface streets of downtown Los Angeles. Navigating through tighter roads and heavier traffic, the driver continued to evade authorities. Patrol units attempted to stay on his trail, but in the dense grid of downtown, the Corvette eventually slipped out of sight.
150 is still plenty fast.
Yeah, we've seen this one, and I kind of came in as this had gotten underway, but I've seen this one since I've been on the desk here at like about 140-ish. Yeah, so.
This is the moment authorities realize it's only a matter of time. The driver slips behind a row of buildings, vanishing into the maze of downtown Los Angeles. The dense grid of city streets and towering structures makes it difficult for the helicopter to maintain a clear line of sight.
He has kind of disappeared too, if you will, behind buildings there in downtown Los Angeles. Last we saw, it was going north on Hill Street.
Right.
Yeah.
By now, every patrol car has lost him. Only the air unit remains, and even that's struggling to keep up. Despite a pursuit that spanned multiple counties and involved both ground units and aerial tracking, the Corvette was gone. At this point, authorities are left guessing, piecing together possible routes and trying to figure out where the driver could have gone. But by the time units begin canvassing the streets, it's already too late. He's disappeared into the city, and any head start he had has turned into a clean getaway. No injuries were reported during the chase, and as of now, the suspect remains unidentified. and the investigation is ongoing. If you enjoyed this video and want to see when drunk drivers realize they're murderers, click the video on the screen. Click the video on the screen.